Hello everyone and welcome to another week in Redditch, a week that is set to be a scorcher. And do you know what? Redditch is one of the furthest towns from the sea. Not to worry, we have the Arrow Valley Lake. Whatever happened to the rowing boats you used to be able to hire on the lake? Bring them back, they were fun. That's my campaign for the week, bring back the rowing boats on the lake. Anybody remember the splash cats at Westmoreland Safari Park? No? Oh, okay. Right, so why am I wearing these indoors? Well, on Wednesday, it's International Sunglasses Day. Yep, it's a thing, International Sunglasses Day, so make sure you put yours on this Wednesday, or not. Right then, I'm sure you've seen some of these when you've been driving around Redditch in the past week or so. England flags on nearly every bridge. And even our esteemed Member of Parliament, Rachel McLean, she's expressed her admiration for them on Facebook. Well, it was brothers Carter and Owen Brough who were responsible for placing, I think, 100 of them or so on the bridges and flyovers around Redditch. And about 6 hours it took them to put them all up. Well, I, for one, think you've done a sterling job. Well done to you both. Come on, England. Right, so who says Standard Xtra doesn't tackle issues that really matter? Well, I think I can safely say that nobody understands Brexit anymore. What seemed at one time a simple yes or no thing has now become a real Mensa challenge. Well, fear not, I've enlisted the help of the most intelligent person at the Reddit Standard to explain everything about Brexit. It's the editor of the Reddit Standard, Ross Crawford. Good to see you, Ross.
Good to see you, Ian.
So, Ross, it's 2 years since the country agreed to leave the EU, albeit marginally. I was one of those who voted out. But here we are, 2 years on, and we're still in it. Why is that?
That's because we're really tangled up with EU laws at the moment, and it's going to take 2 years. 2 years and a bit, actually. We don't actually formally leave until March the 29th, 2019. 9 months away, something like that. And it's going to take a long time, all that time, for us to untangle ourselves from all those EU laws.
Now, we keep hearing about the single market and the customs union. Can you explain what they are?
The single market is the glue that holds the EU together. It's the free movement of people, goods, money and commerce across all the borders within the EU. The customs union is something rather different. It's a tariff-free movement of goods within the EU. And under the customs union, all countries within the EU charge the same amount of tariff for goods coming into the EU. So whether you're importing from Poland or Britain or Spain, they all charge the same amount of tariff. Now, crucially, the customs union says that members of the customs union cannot do deals with countries outside the customs union, which of course is what Britain wants to do in the event of Brexit.
So the House of Lords have pitched in, they're getting involved with all of this. What's their role? Why are they involved?
Well, the House of Lords is the upper house of the Houses of Parliament. Its job is to oversee and amend bills and various legislation to make sure that, in their opinion, that things are going to be okay with any particular piece of legislation. Now, at the moment, there's a bill that the government is trying to get through on what happens if we don't get a deal with the EU come the 29th of March. In fact, I think it's going to be sooner than that. I think it's January. I think the date they put on is January, and the Lords have come up with various amendments asking that the Commons, the MPs, have a meaningful vote if the government doesn't come up with a deal. And that's the crucial role that the Lords are playing at the moment. In fact, it's Lord Hailsham, the former Conservative Minister Douglas Hogg, who's pushing forward these amendments.
Is it possible then that the country could be forced into a second referendum?
I don't think so. I don't think the The enthusiasm is there for it. I think there's a difference as well between the economic side of Brexit and the political side of Brexit. I think basically this country politically just wants to get out of the EU. And no matter what deal we get, whether it's a deal or not, politically we want to get out. So I can't see there being any way that there will be a second referendum. If there is, I think the result would be exactly the same. Probably more in favour of leaving the EU.
How did you vote, Ross?
Well, I'll come straight out and say I'm a Remainer. And I still think, ideally, that we should remain in the EU. But politically, I think the EU needs so many reforms. It's so cumbersome. I can't see the EU reforming itself quickly enough. And therefore, at the moment, I just wish we could get on with it and get out.
Well, thanks, Ross, for shedding light onto a subject which, quite frankly, I'm not sure anybody fully understands. Thanks for that, Ross.
Thank you, Ian.
Looks like Jay's been sidelined this week in favour of Nikita, who joins Bren for this week's game review, which is rather a raunchy and a violent offering from our friends at Ministry of Gamers. So look away now, kids. This is not for you.
Hello and welcome to Ministry of Gamers. I'm Bren.
I'm Nikita.
And what are we looking at today, Keith?
Cyberpunk 2077.
That's quite far in the future, isn't it?
Yes.
Blasting straight into a futuristic dystopia, this is Cyberpunk 2077, a game being developed by CD Projekt Red. They developed the much-loved Witcher 3, and it looks like they're set to release yet another masterpiece.
Cyberpunk 2077 is a game based on an old tabletop roleplay game that originally released in 1988. It's set 50 years later than its board game counterpart and follows the antics of Mercenary V. You get to customise the character in whatever way you'd like, and yes, you can play as a female character too.
There are a number of character classes to choose from, so whether you're enjoying shooting up everything or sneakily hacking your way through missions, there's a class to suit your playstyle.
It's a first-person open-world game featuring 6 distinct districts within this sci-fi Californian city. You can traverse these on foot, motorcycles, or beastly cyberpunk hot rods. You get missions by talking to characters known as fixers to earn experience points that you can then use to upgrade your character with new skills however you see fit. You can even buy apartments to use as a home base to store clothes and weapons.
There's a ton of character possibilities, and depending on the clothes you choose to wear and how you talk to other characters, it can greatly influence the outcome of the story, with multiple possible endings. If you've ever had dreams of being able to wander through a cyberpunk city and go on an epic sci-fi adventure without having to use a pencil and a piece of paper, then this game will fully allow you to do that. It's shaping up to be something very special indeed, and we can't wait for more details to arise, and there's still no release date. But according to a reliable source, there's rumours of a release before June 2019. Watch this space, cyberpunk fans! That was Cyberpunk 2077. Fantastic looking game, eh?
Super intense, beautiful graphics.
Just everything you want from a
First person.
Yeah, that's a main feature. But yeah, details are a little bit sketchy at the moment, and I'm hoping they'll bring out a lot more information since the announcement at E3.
Yeah.
It's been coming for a long time. Do you know they originally announced it back in 2011?
Yikes! Yeah, they'll continue to just release stuff, especially from since E3. It will just be like, we just want to see gameplay. That's what we want to see. We want to see gameplay now.
Anyway, it's worth waiting for, so we hope that it comes soon rather than later. But thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I've been Brent.
I've been Nikita.
And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
Wow. I wonder if that's what life really will be like in 2077. Well, if it is, I suppose you could use this game as a 2077 survival guide. Wonderful as ever, Brent, and Nikita, of course. And don't forget, check out Ministry of Gamers on YouTube. There's some really fantastic stuff on there. Right, let's check out the papers this week. The Sportsman's Arms was giving free chicken balti and sweet and sour chicken for the England-Panama game. So I'm guessing it was pretty packed in there. Also on the front is the sickening story of the thug who beat up a 71-year-old man on a bus last Monday. It's believed the suspect is known to the police, so let's hope they catch up with him pretty soon. Well done to Glastonbury Music Festival, who raised just over £10,000 for Deaf Blind UK and the Mental Health Foundation. Fantastic day by all accounts. Polly Jones and Dan Rybinski have teamed up with the YMCA to distribute leftover food to the homeless and less fortunate. Good on you both. I nearly said that. The Veterans with Dogs charity are over £250 better off after Jennifer Stone, her husband Craig, and their children Matilda and Natasha, and their beagle Max, successfully climbed Snowdon through driving wind and rain. Well done to them. MP Rachel McLean and Police Crime Commissioner John Campion have vowed to take action after meeting business owners who have recently suffered from vandalism in Redditch town centre. Also, Redditch welcomed visitors from Twin Town Umtwara last weekend. A very busy week for them, visiting schools, churches, Forge Mill Museum in Taco, and it was all rounded off with a tree planting at the Abbey Stadium. Loads and loads more news in more detail in this week's Redditch Standard and on the website. Check it out. Right, glasses back on for this one. So I look cool. So how do you fancy a bit of energetic rock and roll or wild rockabilly with a modern twist, which is how Nick Richardson, Alex Richardson, Billy Jenkinson and Tom Mayo would better describe it. Yes, collectively they are the Uproars. Yet more fantastic talent from Redditch. Let's hear them.
Tonight, get wild, baby, get wild. Come on and get wild. Well, you sure look good. Come on and get wild with me. One more Get wild,
Did I ever tell you I used to play the drums? Think I might have. Well, way back in the day, we used to play rock and roll music, and I used to love it. And that's brought the memories flooding back. The Uproars, I'm a fan. And if you ever kick Tom out in favour of an ageing rock and roll drummer, I'm your man. Great stuff. Right, and don't forget, if you're a local band or singer playing your own material and you have a video that you don't mind us all watching, get in touch and we'll play it.
Standard Extra! Nice.
Right, get your mowers out. Oh, actually don't. Well, not yet anyway. Not until you've heard from our resident garden expert who'll tell you how to best look after your lawn.
Okay, so I like to start off doing the edging first. So nice set of edging shears. Make sure the blade's nice and sharp. I don't use a strimmer because I think that's too brutal and can actually damage the edge of your lawn. So stick with some edging shears. Do that before you mow the lawn. That way you'll get more of the grass in the blade and I think you'll get a better cut. Here we go then, the job that most people don't look forward to at the weekend, but some people, like myself, do enjoy it. And there's no real art to mowing the lawn other than maybe following a few simple guidelines. If you want stripes, you need a mower with a rear roller on it. You can get those on electric or petrol mowers. If your grass is long because you haven't been bothered to mow it for weeks, one big tip, don't go straight onto a short setting. You'll end up with yellow grass underneath. Best to mow it, lower the height of the blades gradually, and that way you'll get a nice lawn at the end. Once you've finished mowing, empty your grass box, and if you can, put it on a composter. That way you can eventually make your own compost, and that'll save you a fortune in brown bin fees and buying compost. Let's go and stick that on. One more thing before we put the lawnmower away, it's the height of summer, there's a few bald patches on the lawn, so I'll show you how to do that now. So you're going to get some bald patches, especially in the height of summer when it's a lot drier. What to do, just rake over the soil a bit so it breaks it up. Bring up a bit of the grass too, but we can just rake that out of the way. And there's two ways you can do this. You can mix some good topsoil together with a bit of grass seed, or these days you can get from all good garden centres and cheap shops and get a ready-made patch kit. So just get a bit of that in your hand, sprinkle it all on. Just doing it in my hand to make sure it's a bit more even. And just pouring it straight into the gap. They always say when you're putting grass seed down to put one down for the birds as well, so we'll do that because they'll be pecking at that. What I'll do next is just pat that in with the back of the rake. And then of course need to water it in. So water it in nice and evenly. I'm using a watering can with a fine rose on it, so it's nice and even. Job's done. That's it, a job well done. You can relax now, enjoy your handiwork and admire your garden. See you next time.
Oh no, I've done James a disservice. I've missed out a bit. I'm a lousy gardener, so I don't know whether it's important, but I'd better sneak it in or he might deadhead my roses.
Okay, before you start mowing up and down or side to side, it's good to go around the edges a couple of times first. That way you won't be hanging the mower over there into the borders and probably chopping 1 or 2 plants out of the way. And it means that you can really crack on then with mowing the section in the middle really well.
You see, that's probably a very important bit. Excellent, James, thanks for that. And if I haven't frightened him off, he'll be back next week with more gardening tips. Now, just while we're on the subject of lawns, Tony, who works with us, has been telling everyone how he and his mate have laid a new lawn in his back garden. Here you are. But when we analysed the footage, it became apparent who actually laid the lawn and who supervised the laying of the lawn. Looks good though, Tone. He did show me a photo of it after it had been down for a few days and he'd mowed it, obviously having watched James's garden tips, and it really looks a picture. And he'll no doubt show us a lot more photos of it this week. Right, a quick look at what's going on in and around Redditch. Rod Stewart is here. Well, a tribute anyway. So if you fancy donning your tartan trousers and bopping along to Maggie May, then head on down to the O's House next Saturday, the 30th of June, 9:15 p.m. start as usual, and the ticket price is £5. There's a charity garden open day at the Old Piggery in Waits Lane. That's happening the 29th of June to the 1st of July. That's actually 3 days. Opening 3 days, I don't know. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. that is. Entrance is £12, which includes sandwiches and a full cream tea. And that'll be in aid of Dementia UK, Help for Heroes and Cancer Research UK. The usual Tuesday and Sunday quiz nights at the Bell Inn in Ashwood Bank. And Friday night is 60s night at the Palace Theatre with New Eamon Corner performing. £20 to get in there, and that's this Friday the 29th of June. Returning by huge popular demand apparently. Check out the Redditch Standard and the Redditch Standard website for more about what's going on in and around Redditch.
Can't get finance? Whatever your circumstances, talk to us. I'm sure we can help. Lakeside Car Sales. You'll find us at the Lakeside Trading Centre in Redditch. Or why not visit our website, www.lakesidecarsales.co.uk. Come and see why more and more people are buying quality used cars from Lakeside Car Sales.
Once again, there's loads of sport for you to catch up on in this week's Standard. Read about Redditch and Taco's first home win of the Birmingham League Division 3 campaign. That's cricket, by the way. There's county success for Redditch Swimming Club. And George Rowand is Thailand bound as he secured his place at the International Federation of Muay Thai Amateur Youth World Championships. So don't mess with George, and good luck to him. We wish him well. Lots more, including motorcycling, rugby league, angling, wrestling, bowls, football, athletics, martial arts and cricket. Don't know how you fit it all in, Liam. Check it all out in this week's Standard and the Redditch Standard website. So how did our pundits do on the England-Panama game? Crown or clown?
Who? No, I think England will win that convincingly, and if they don't, they should pack up and come back 3-0.
We don't tend to win games by more than 3 or 4 these days. the days of beating Turkey 8-0 and things like that are long gone. But yeah, 2 or 3-0 to England.
Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to get in touch with us if there's something you want us to feature. And local bands or artists, keep sending us those videos. Thanks to the Ministry of Gamers, the Uproars, Ross Crawford, James Arles and everybody else who's contributed this week. And we'll see you next week. Bye now.